Hi, I am Aditya, a aspiring computer engineering student, and I want to become a skilled software engineer. So that's why I started a challenge called as Skilled Engineer. And as a part of my journey, solving DSA problem is very crucial. And for better understanding of these problems, I am gonna start from now explaining these problems in video format, and this approach improve my problem solving ability and also helps to improve my communication. That's why I started this. So the first problem I am gonna explain is two sum problem. So before directly go on to the code of the problem, we need to firstly understand what the exactly question is and how do we solve the question. So the first we are gonna understand what's the problem is. So problem statement is two sum problem. So firstly we will understand what the problem is. So the problem statement is two sum problem in which we have given a nums array and target element. So in this question in which we have to find the two numbers from nums array by which addition of this both number equals to this target value. Now we have understand the problem. So next step is how to solve it. So we have to find the two numbers whose addition is equal to the target. So finding these two numbers, we have to iterate through this array. For iteration, we are initiating two indexes I and j. We are gonna initialize I index from first element of the array. From this, we are gonna initialize ith index. As I initialize I index from start of the array, and next we have iterate through this array. And for iteration, we are gonna again initialize another index called as j, which is next to the I index. If the sum of these two elements equal to the target element, then we are gonna return these two elements. If sum is not equal to the target element, then we are gonna increment this j to the next element. If again this is not equal to the target, then again initialize this, and again the sum is not equal to the target, then we are gonna incrementing this I and again start from the j. We are gonna continue this iteration method up to the finding the element, or if not element find, though I gonna increment it up to the length of the array. If we couldn't find the two values that are equal to the target, then we are gonna return the null values. So let's gonna understand this problem by a simple example. So we have given this array 2, 7, 11 and 15, and we have to find the target element as 9. So we are gonna initialize I from first index, and there from I's next index we are gonna initialize j, and we are gonna check whether the addition of these two elements is equal to the target. As 2 plus 7 is equal to the 9, so we have find the two elements which are equal to the target. So that's why we are going to return these two elements 2 and 7, as we have found the two elements. Again a simple another example where the index is 3, 4 and 2, and the target element is 6. So we are going to initialize first I to the first index, then j to the next index of that. First we are gonna check whether the sum of these two numbers is equal to the target or not. As 3 plus 4 is equal to 7 and it is not equal to the 6, so that's why we are gonna increment j to the next. So 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 and not equal to the 6. As we are gonna increment I as j come to the last index of the array, so we are gonna increment I, and then the next element of I is j, and we are going to check whether the two elements are equal to the target or not. As 4 plus 2 is equal to 6 and our target element is 6, so that's why we have found the two elements which are equal to the target element. So we are going to return these two elements 4 and 2. So finally we have seen what the problem is and how we solved it. So I am going to use Java language as my primary language, where I solve the questions in Java language. So let's get on to the Leetcode profile where I solve submit the Java code. So we are now gonna code the solution of the two sum problem. So here we are given num array and the target element. So we are gonna find the two elements in the nums array whose the sum is equal to the target. So firstly we need to initialize the I index. So we need to iterate over the array twice. That's why we are using the for loop for two times. Our first index is I, which is gonna initialize from 0 and which is up to the our array dot length up to the last element of the array, which is iterate up to the last element of the array. Again we are gonna initialize another index called as the j in for loop, which is also less than nums dot length. That means, so now we are gonna initialize the second index called as the j int j, which is initialized next to the ith element. That means I plus 1, and which is also less than our array length. That means which is gonna iterate to the last element of the array. So we are now gonna check whether the two elements are equal to the target or not. So nums of I plus nums of j equal to the our target element. Then we need to return the new array, which is of type int, and in that array we need to store the values I and j, which is equal to the both sum is equal to the target element. If we didn't find anything, then we need to return an empty array which has length -1 which has been indicate that the array is empty. So we are gonna now run the problem, and here we have find the solution. So our problem is solved and we are gonna submit the question, and it performs very well. So this is my first try of explaining the problem. So thank you for this. So see you all. Until then, keep hustling.